This is a banded vertical knee raise, working on hip flexor strength. So just gonna take a band, you can put it under like a doorway, shut the door in there. What you're gonna do then is you're gonna be using this one to kind of create tension on there. So the further out you walk it, the more tension there's gonna be. But one foot's gonna go underneath there. Take this one foot, push it out there. What you're gonna be doing is you can stabilize yourself here. What you're gonna be lifting this one leg up, straight vertical. Make sure you're stepping on this with the other foot strongly, kind of in the middle of your foot so it doesn't snap up. And when you switch sides, you're just gonna spin the other direction. This is a banded RDL. What you're gonna do is you're gonna put the band on the ground. Okay. The more slack that's in the middle, the easier it's gonna be. The tighter it is down in the middle, the harder it's gonna be. So if I wanna make it a little easier, I'm gonna pull up a little bit of slack here. And make sure that the band is in the middle of your feet here. Same thing. We don't want this to slip off and shoot up and hit you. So band there, pulling up a little bit of slack. You're gonna hold on with both hands like this. And we're gonna do that RDL position. So that hinging position where you're kind of looking upward, driving the hips forward to stand and back down. And you can use as tight of a band as you want to do this. Obviously, a tighter band's gonna make it a little bit more challenging. Make sure your core stays nice and tight. If you can see from the side, that RDL position, the glutes go back, knees are ever so slightly bent, and you stand by driving your hips forward. You're not standing by lifting with the back. You're standing here by driving those hips forward. This is a stagger stance, sit to stand. The two ways you make this exercise harder are bringing your lead foot further in front, makes it more challenging because you have to use the back leg a lot more, or lowering the surface. So to make it easier, that lead leg is closer towards this leg that's working, which is gonna be this one, or you elevate the seat, okay? So what I want this one to look like is you're primarily gonna be using the back leg to stand. I don't want you using a lot of momentum to throw yourself forward, but you can use a little bit if you need to. What this is gonna look like, primarily gonna be using this leg. You're gonna stand, slowly lower yourself down to a seat, stand, slowly lower yourself down to a seat. And again, if it's too hard, back that foot up. Primarily try to use this leg still, but you can still use this one some for support and slowly lower back down. This is a standing hip flexor stretch. So I'm gonna be stretching this side here. How this is gonna look is you're just gonna be against the wall and you're gonna kind of tuck your hips underneath a little bit and you kind of push your hips forward. You should feel a stretch in this area here, okay? So you're just gonna hold that stretch. It should be this whole front of that kind of thigh, hip area right there. You're gonna hold that for about 30 seconds or so. Relax, same thing, tuck the hips underneath a little bit. You're gonna kind of lunge or lean forward a little bit. I have a pretty good stretch like this right now, that side, and you're just gonna hold it there. And you'll do both sides. This one's a standing adductor stretch, so we're gonna be working the muscles on the insides here. You can do it standing like this, freestanding, or you can hold on to something. Sometimes holding on to something like a countertop actually works better because you can get a little deeper into the stretch. So pretend there's something in front of me here. What I'm gonna be doing here is kind of straddling a little bit, and I'm gonna shift over to the side, okay? If this leg is straight and like you feel it in the front of the leg, that's not quite right. So to fix that, if you slightly bend this knee, ever so slightly, like mildly, and then lean over more, you'll get a little bit more of a stretch in here. And by slightly, like if this is straight, that much, okay? Tiny bit. You're just gonna lunge and lean over, okay? To make this a little stronger of a stretch, you're gonna push your hips backwards. It's not squatting lower, you push your hips backwards. So from the side, looks like this, pushing the butt back, that's gonna get a little stronger stretch in there. You're just gonna hold that for about 30 seconds, and you'll do both sides on that. So this is a banded pull apart. What I want you to do is grab a band, and you're gonna be pulling apart, engaging the shoulder blades, okay? So it's not trying to just pull this as far back behind you as you can. You're gonna be engaging the shoulder blades and squeezing the shoulder blades together. So if you see me from the side, My elbows are ever so slightly bent, but I'm really squeezing and engaging the shoulder blades here. So that's my focus. Pulling apart here. Elbows aren't really changing position. I'm just engaging and squeezing the shoulder blades. You should feel a decent little burn here if you do it correctly. This is banded shoulder abduction. So you're gonna be putting the band underneath your foot. Can't really see it here, but underneath your foot. This hand's gonna be holding the band. You're gonna be leaned over, kind of like in a dress position, like you're gonna hit a golf club. You're gonna be doing the shoulder abduction exercise, okay? I don't want you bringing it way up high. You're just gonna be bringing it a little past shoulder height and slowly let it back down. And you'll do both sides on this. This is banded external rotation, so you're just gonna anchor this band to a point. Keep your elbow into your side. You're just gonna pull that arm open as far as you can. If you notice here, you can't really see it, my elbow's pinned into my side. I'm not letting it get away, not tipping and turning. I'm just moving as far as I kind of can. And you're gonna do both sides on this. This is called a banded backswing. You're gonna take a band, put it under your lead leg, okay? This hand, palm up, holding onto the stretchy part of the band. This hand is gonna intercept the band and be pushing away from your body at about a 45-degree angle. So it's not coming backwards, it's not going forward, about a 45-degree angle away, okay? This arm is gonna stay nice and straight, and you're trying to go as wide as you possibly can, not behind you, not straight vertical, but as wide as you possibly can into a backswing, okay? So how this is gonna look in real time, it's gonna be here, backswing, intercept, push, get a lot of rotation. You can see my lower body's not turning, caving like this. I'm rotating my torso, coming back to the middle. Back up, pushing here, rotation, maintaining good width, trying to get as wide as I can with the arms. Head stays neutral, and just gonna unwind right here. And you'll do both sides on that. This is a banded pull with a push. So what you're gonna be doing here, lining up kind of in a golf stance. You're gonna be pulling an arm back, and then you're gonna be kind of pushing this one forward as you pull this one back, okay? So you might need a little bit stronger of a band for this one. So you're not just releasing and letting it go, you're actively gonna be pushing, okay? So what it's gonna look like is I'm gonna be back here. It's gonna be a push and a pull. Head's gonna stay neutral. You can use the lower body just a little bit to kind of create that rhythm of a golf swing. Doing pushing and pulling back and forth like that. This is a banded front raise. We're gonna work the front of the shoulders. You're gonna step on a band like this, make sure you're standing on it in the middle. Palms are gonna be down, you're gonna raise your arms up, about shoulder height, and back down. You can have a slight bend in your arms, not much, a little bbit. You should feel it on the front of the shoulders. In order to make this one harder, you widen your feet to get a little more tension on the band. Use a heavier band. I'll kind of show you from the side what this looks like, is I'm not leaning backwards to lift. I'm actually kind of leaning forward a little bit and lifting this way nice and smooth and slowly lowering down. So this is banded rows. What we're gonna be doing here, you're gonna just anchor the band in front of you. Palms are gonna start down, and you're gonna engage and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Let them come all the way forward, okay? So I'm not locked in here when it's forward. I actually let my shoulders come forward. I'm gonna squeeze them and pull them and get my arms kind of back towards my side. So the goal is not to not use the shoulders and pull the arms back as far as you can. It's just a banded row right here, okay? You can use as heavy of a band as you want on this one. Just make sure you're not rocking and you have good control and good shoulder blade engagement on this.